Testing. All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Don. We're going to call this meeting of the Health and Human Services and Veterans Standing Committee to order. We will start with our Pledge of Allegiance. Don, are you able to lead us in that Pledge of Allegiance?
I am.
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
When you're ready,
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Seep.
You're welcome. My honor.
Do we have proof of notification? Okay, so with that, then we will need a motion to approve our 21-point agenda. All right, motion by Cindy, second by Carrie. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, that takes us to approval of previous meeting minutes. Did anyone notice any corrections or anything? Okay, if not, then we'll take a motion for that as well. Motion by Mr. Severson. And a second by Ms. Chicker. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so this takes us to our public comment portion. We have a few people signed up here today to speak. Thank you for joining us. We welcome hearing your input. I will just go by order of who is signed here, and I will have you step up to one of these mics here and introduce yourself. And then you can have a couple of minutes to share with us your input. So it looks like we have a Marie Waldsmith as the first name. You may sit or stand, whatever you're more comfortable with.
Neither.
We don't bite.
But I'm here. Okay. My name is Marie Waldsmith, and I'm here speaking to support the senior nutrition program. And I'm going to give a little bit of reasoning and background, I guess. My husband and I started using a senior nutrition program during COVID. You know, it was a way for us to add variety to our stay-at-home life, I guess. We went and picked up the grab-and-go meals. If it was good weather, we went outside and ate them along the Pine River or somewhere in one of our park systems. And if not, then we went home and listened to the news while we ate it. Prior to the Richland Center program, we used to go to the Boscoville senior site. And the reason for that is my mother was living in Boscoville, had given up driving, and we would go at least once a week and take her to the nutrition site. And prior to the lunch meal, we would play whist or euchre. And she would get a chance to mix with her friends and senior people of her own age. And it added not only the physical movement to get there and back, but also the mental and the social.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, what a bunch of stuff here. Okay, well, hopefully I'm on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lee, you're not muted at the moment. Welcome to the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Oh. Okay. And then often, you know, my sister and her husband, if they could fit it in their schedule, did another day. So they gave her a couple outings a week because she had chosen to give up her as her chemo occurred. I think we need to keep this program. It adds a quality of life to a lot of people, a lot of seniors. It is a socializing stimulation. It provides the physical movement of going to a site. And for those that cannot physically go, it actually ends up being still a little social and then also a health check. And we need to take care of our citizens. And the mental acuity it provides, I think, is another thing that people forget, you know, till we all get there. Okay. There's also some other benefits to keeping this, and that is we employ Richland County residents when we're providing this service. And I just think we need to keep this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. All right, our next name is, it looks like a Carol McKittrick.
Good morning. I'm Carol McKittrick. I have benefited from this program and my sister for a few years now. My sister could not drive and wasn't physically able to go down to the meal site, so we had meals delivered. For her, that was convenient for her, and it was nice for me to go down to the meal site itself and eat as an outing. As a caregiver, it's good to have this program. I agree with all that the other lady talked about, and for the same reasons, I think we should continue this program. It's very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a Barbara Ames.
Hello, my name is Barbara Ames, and I go to the community meal site, and all I have to say is we really need it, period. Thank you.
Thank you. The last on our list here is Georgette White.
I wish to stand up. It's on, right? My name is Georgette White. I'm only 3 years in Wisconsin, but my family has been here almost 30 years with a farm. I'm from Florida. So there is a big difference here. I represent Rockbridge Senior Meal Center. That's where I'm coming from. I volunteer there. And so I'm kind of a people observer. I see that all of you are educated. So I know that in some of your psychology classes, you heard about the most important things for human beings. At the top of the triangle was shelter. Then comes food, water. Somewhere down in there, which I can't remember, is socialization, family, love. I think everyone here has been thinking the product of the senior meal sites is feeding them. There is a hidden product that is this big. It's called socialization. That's a big word that somebody invented, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, when they started noticing that Alzheimer's was leaping into our health care. I'm an MCI, so every now and then there's spaces in what I'm saying because the words won't come. But when I'm over there with my group, same age, we all have that problem. We laugh about it. It's great. But what's really important there is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the same people get together, new people join, they chat, they laugh. Maybe it's the same joke they said last month, but they get laughed at anyway. The people say, how you doing? Hey, what about that big cut you had last week? How's it doing? That may be the only time that somebody that they know remembers that there was a problem. We all have families, yeah, but they're younger, they're busy, they're making money and taking care of everybody. But we know 3 times a week, we're going to come and we're going to have good conversation and we're going to have a meal, which is important too, but it's kind of an excuse just to play cards with the same people. Well, I'm not a card player. I'm a puzzle person, but I know it's a weakness. So I never have one in the house. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have dinner on the table for me. But I love it. I get 2 hours worth of doing the puzzle and chatting with the ladies. So I want you to start thinking about that. All those neurologists and psychologists that keep saying, oh my gosh, the old people, to be by themselves is a really bad thing for their health. So when you're thinking about cutting down on, or excuse me, consolidating some of the meal sites, I don't want you to think that. And of course, I don't want you to think about cutting the payrolls or cutting the quality of the food. I understand where you're coming from. But I want you to think about that new thing, at least it was not told to me in my college years that, oh, hey, the old people have to have conversations and going around and meeting people. But they're really pushing it now. I want to remind you about that. So yes, keep the locations where you have them. Keep the food where as you have it. Maybe a little better, that's okay. You know, a little bit more fresher, but that's okay. But I'd want you to consider that. Because I know that you're running it, but you have to have good reasons to tell the bean counters of why you need your money. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. White. Director Clements, I know you had several correspondence. Would you like me, are these the copies? You want me to read those? Okay. So we had a few emails or letters as correspondence in regards to some issues as well. So I'm going to read those to us and as part of the public comment. So the first one here is from a Roseanne, I'm not sure how to say her last name, Nower? Okay. Says, to whom it may concern, I am writing this letter on behalf of the Elder Nutrition Program in Richland Center, Wisconsin, and my wonderful mother, Donna. The nutrition program saved my mother's life quite literally. In 2019, she was diagnosed with stress fractures in her pelvis, couldn't walk, and was 20 pounds underweight. I had just retired from a full-time job, and in the blink of an eye, my mother couldn't navigate in her own home, up, down steps, drive, or cook for herself. Because she was malnourished and low on vitamin B12, her brain was very fuzzy. She couldn't sit on furniture because her bones were protruding, causing pain. Unless you have experience being a caretaker, you will not understand the immediate difficulties and strain this put on my own family. My mother was living in her own home 30 miles north of Richland Center. After multiple failed attempts of getting assistance for my mother through Juneau County, I was able to move my mother to Richland Center, where we have lived since 2010. Richland County Health and Human Services has been a godsend to me, my family, and my mother. Tanya Webster has been an awesome advocate for families. In 2019, I rented a walker for my mother to start healing her stress fractures from the county HHS. Found a zero-entry home for her to live in, and thankfully started her on the Richland County Nutrition Program, Meals on Wheels, home delivery, 3 days per week. I am able to supplement meals and groceries for my mother on other days, but the nutrition program allowed me a peace of mind which is priceless. The program also brought independence back for my mother. She gained weight back, her strength, mobility, and brain functioning improved. Meeting these basic intrinsic needs has allowed my mother to live a beautiful, meaningful quality of life since 2019. Don't we wish that for all our parents in their last years of life? The Richland County Health and Human Services programs and staff live up to their logo, helping others with compassion and empathy. I have been singing their praises since 2019. I'm sure others are just as appreciative as we are. If you haven't been a recipient of their programs, just wait. Someday you and I will. Sincerely, Roseanne Nauer. And then I have another, this is an email on behalf of Mary Barnett, a lifelong resident of Richland County. It says, I believe that nutrition and aging programs are fundamental services designed to support our seniors. These programs support health and may actually keep seniors out of more expensive nursing homes. Seniors in Richland County have paid taxes all of their adult lives and should be able to receive modest support as they age. Please maintain our senior services at the current level. Sincerely, Mary Barnett. One more, just a short note to let you know and the county board members how much I appreciate the daily hot meal I get each day. Please don't cut or eliminate this most worthy program. I know you have to cut each and every program, but when it comes to food, that is part of survival. Give this some serious thought before you even think about trimming on this program. I thank you, Jim Pulvermacher. And the last one is one from a Linda Simons. It says she was the ADRC manager from 2006 to 2015. Says, just as many families are doing during these times, I understand that there is an imposing need to adjust the county budget to balance income and expenditures. I appreciate how difficult this will be and the hard work ahead for you and the other board members. As a county resident and a former county health and human services employee who worked with community systems, I have a request for you to consider as you move through this very difficult time. Truly examine what services bring to their county in their totality. Work with department directors to see if there are efficiencies in service that can help save funds. Cutting county support for some services will devastate the population served, greatly reduce revenue brought into the county, and actually increase costs for the county through increased placements, increased health degradation, and incarcerations. For example, nutrition keeps the elderly not only better fed, but in society and connected. These three things prevent illness and help identify seniors in distress. Mental health services quickly identify those needing support early before the county has to intercede with costly institutional placements. Typically, a placement comes only after being incarcerated at the local level. Economic support conducts outreach and connects people to supportive financial and cost-saving services that fill in economic gaps. When people become desperate, they often commit petty crimes to support themselves and graduate into more destructive crimes out of need. Veteran Services connects our veterans to a place to get help and support. Help and support they sometimes don't want to access through other service providers. Housing this trusted service with Health and Human Service makes sense. This office could better collaborate with other programming and enhance veteran service. There might even be a cost saving through mutual support. The Aging and Disability Resource Center provides a myriad of services and connections for anyone in the community who is disabled or aging, or anyone connected to this population. Your ADRC is respected for its program excellence and leadership throughout the state and requires only the minimum match to bring over $2 million into the county annually. It surpasses work output in comparisons to other similar counties. It also has a statewide reputation for community collaboration and building through its multiple partnerships. I have always admired Richland County's dedication to supporting its residents, and I'm sure you will continue to do so. I know the Health and Human Services Director will look for efficiencies and cost savings, but to simply cut funding will lose programming that is literally saving costs right now. Those savings will disappear as more and more residents lose their safety net and support. As a voter in the county, I know that I cannot support a referendum that will affect our county negatively. And then she asked for me to share this with the other board members and thanked us for our work. So again, I just want to say thank you all to those of you that came and shared. I do want to address a couple of things. We do not have anything related to nutrition on our agenda today, so I just wanted to clarify that. I also want to state that we are not cutting funding for the nutrition program, and in fact, I'm going to let Director Clements kind of say what we have done for that.
So what we are proposing for the long-range planning for the nutrition program is to have our levy be the pre-COVID level. So the amount of levy that we've received for the program has decreased the last couple of years because we've received federal funds to help support the program. We have looked and in our long-range planning have put that pre-COVID levy amount back into the program so that we can maintain the program as it is right now. The levy amount is the amount of county dollars that are used to support the program.
All right, thank you. So I hope that answers some of your questions and concerns. We definitely do care about the nutrition program and supporting the elderly in our community. We're going to move on then.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Van
this is
Lindhoek.
Lee Van Landite speaking. I appreciate what everybody brought to the table about the elder care and the other programs that we offer as a community. And I'd like to kind of place the onus onto the Wisconsin State Legislature, who's sitting on a record $5+ billion in funding. And they've taken more and more away from our community, as Ms. Clemens said. And I think if we got the legislators to start distributing that money that's ours back into the community, then a lot of the things that we are forced to deal with right now would no longer be a problem. So I would suggest that everybody that's within hearing distance let their legislators, the senators and congressmen, know that we need their help. And if they're not willing to hatch the egg that they're sitting on, next time around, we would know what to do. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to number 7, which is our 2022 VSO budget summary. Director or CVSO Knock, if you could walk us through, it looks like you have 3 different budget documents under that one.
Sure.
Thank you.
So nothing has changed from the prior month, except for the telephone bill. Sorry, I lost it. I had it and I lost it. I'm having some problems with my drives.
Is that the first one that's in there? It says TechCom was the first line.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And so
So-
what do you mean it has changed?
No, it hasn't changed.
Oh, it hasn't changed.
Yep.
I
I'm
see.
sorry. I'm having problems with my. The internet is fluctuating
He's
for me.
got
right
it
now.
pulled up back
Yep.
there too, if that's helpful.
So those are my only expenses this month, besides the salaries.
Okay. So then it looks like we have the document that is the general fund. Is the second document.
Correct. Again, no changes to this since last month, except for the salaries, which was the monthly.
Okay. And lastly is the one 5551, the Soldiers and Sailors Fund.
Yep, and again, no changes out of that fund this month either.
So I did have a question because it looks like year to date you've spent about $1,200 and you've got $5,600 left. Is that, am I reading that correctly? Remaining balance, 5,000.
For the Soldiers and Sailors Fund?
Yeah. Is that typical to have that much over at this point in the year, or what do you use the remaining funds for? Is it a rolling fund?
Well, let me see, the 12 came out of the project. So the aid is the 3,000. That has never been touched. That is the one that the taxpayers, I can't think of the word, I'm sorry. That every year that goes into the county taxes. Yes, the levy. Thank you. I lost the word for a minute there. And so that's probably why it looks bigger than it is. Why there's so much left in there
Okay.
is because the last time that fund was used was 2014.
So what happens to those monies then at the end of the
That
year?
would go back to the general fund after the end of the year.
Okay. And so similarly, like the flag holders, there's 1,500 in that. Do you use that by the end of the year?
So here's the problem with the flag holders, is that down in Ohio right now, they're having a huge problem getting the bronze, getting the ore and the minerals and the materials to make those.
Okay.
So we are severely depleted in our office, and they're back ordered. I've been back ordered for about 7 months now. And a gentleman came into the office to order his own, and he reported back to me that they told him, good luck, we hope you'll get it before Memorial Day. So that's the reason why there's so much money in there, is because I've ordered them, but I haven't been able to get that invoice and pay them because we haven't received them yet.
Okay.
So
Thank
that's
you.
why it looks like there's more in there than there actually is. So we're trying to order the flag holders.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Does anyone else have any questions before we move on? Okay, if not, that takes us to the administrative report from BSO.
We're looking forward to tomorrow's Veterans Day events. There's actually one going on right now in town. They switched it into 2 days worth. And then tomorrow they have, oh Lord, throughout the county, they have probably a dozen different Veterans Day events going on. So we try to stick to town because then we can hit more of them because they're in closer locations, unless I've been asked to be a speaker. We attended a conference. October 17th through the 21st, and that was our accreditation, continued education. It was wonderful. We learned so much. It was just an overflow of information, which was wonderful. A lot of things are changing and evolving in the VA system right now, so that was wonderful. Just like to remind everybody about the Operation Greenlight, which is the keeping a green light on to show your support for soldiers that are transitioning out of service, and that's during the week of it's going on right now. It's through the week of the November 11th to show the support. So if you have a green light bulb somewhere or a string of green Christmas lights, that would be wonderful to show your support. We have quite a few people in the community that are lighting it up with green lights, just in case you didn't know what that means. So besides that, it's pretty much been business as usual. And nothing else. Oh, and I want to thank all the committee members that came for our open house. We had a total of, how many are on the committee? I'm sorry, you said it earlier. 11. I had 8 successfully able to attend the open house, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful sharing experience. So I wanted to thank the committee members that were able to make it for those days. And besides that, I have nothing else. If anyone has any questions.
Madam Chair,
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Seep.
just a question or two about the conference. Where was the conference?
It was held in the Wisconsin Rapids.
Was this a regional conference?
State.
State conference?
Correct.
And so that's the second state conference you've attended, is that right?
Correct. There's one in the spring and then there's one in the fall. The first one was in lacrosse in April.
So you won't be attending any more conferences this year?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
The next one will be in May in Madison. We will have no hotel fees because we'll be driving every day.
Okay, how many people attended the state conference? How many, do you know? How many counties?
I think that there was 10 not in attendance, but most of the tribes made it. So I would say approximately 70 out of 83.
Okay. Sounds like you had a very good attendance.
It was amazing. They actually brought an appeals judge in from Washington, D.C. It was amazing. It was a great conference. We learned a lot.
Do you have, is your report in the packet? Your report on the conference, is that in the packet?
No.
You don't have a written report.
I think you turned yourself off.
Mr. Seep, this is just a monthly report, and so neither of the directors here typically write that up. It's a verbal report.
That's fine. It would be nice to have a little more detail about the education conference since it's a very vital part of our training. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to number 9, the monthly visitor log report.
This is a log that I keep every year. The next 2 items, the copy of calls and copy of forms. I keep this by myself, and I've been doing it since 2021. And when I had mentioned it and included an old copy of it last year's, it was mentioned that they would like to see the current as it stands. So this was included in. We just didn't get to it last month. during the meeting, so I've included it in again this month. I wasn't asked, but and I plan on, the plan was to make this an annual report. So the next time you would see it again would be the January meeting as to report the numbers. But so I just thought that you would like to see the standing.
Yeah, I think there had been a request to see this the last time and we just didn't get to it. So I appreciate you putting that in. Do any board members, hopefully you got a chance to look at it. There were two forms. One is a copy of calls and walk-ins, and the other was a copy of forms that have been filed. Do any board members have any questions for Ms. Knock?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a couple of questions. On the visitors log, you have a category on the bottom called Other. Could you give me an example of what other means?
So I think what you're referring to is the copy of the forms. Other are forms that we complete that aren't numbered on there. They're kind of random MISC forms that we fill out throughout the month.
I see. Could you give me an example of what some of those are about?
A national park pass, a request to the National Archives, a DNR paperwork, things like that. It's just random, anything that the VA would send someone and ask them to complete that's not of the norm, anything like that.
Madam Chair, I think that it's fair to say that these forms filed have to do generally with direct contact with a veteran who comes in and asks for assistance. So some of them take a lot more time than others. Some of them are just a routine sort of application for health care, 1010 easy, and some are more complicated applications for compensation for disability pension, which involves perhaps several visits. Is that right, Karen?
Yeah, yep, it could be.
And may involve much more of your time than some of the office visits.
There are several different claims that run into several months.
Yes.
I've been working with a couple right now that it's been 5 years that we've been working together.
So generally these requests for claim assistance are probably done by appointment rather than a walk-in.
Well, it's first come, first serve, so that's why we ask people to make the appointments in the office, but it's not necessary.
Well, I noticed that some days you have as many as 30 walk-ins, and how do you manage that when you have people that you have appointments with for, or that you're helping with claims at the same time?
I have a benefit specialist in the office.
Yes.
And so he's able to stop people at the door as they're coming in, and he either schedules them or asks them to come back at a later date.
And who takes all the phone calls? Does the benefit specialist take the calls?
We share all office responsibilities when it comes to phone calls.
Sometimes you have as many as 30 or 40 phone calls a day. One day I saw on the record 52 phone calls. You must spend at least a couple of minutes or more per phone call on an average. Seems to me there's a big burden of reception and intake involved just in phone calls.
We manage the office very well.
Well, that's fine. I'm just interested in how you manage all that activity without having an appointment scheduled for people. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else
Madam-
with any questions before we move on?
Madam Chair, this is Lee Van Landate.
Yes, Mr. Van Landijk.
The forms that are being submitted now, I think, are very beneficial to those of us on the Veterans Committee. It indicates trends and that kind of thing, which we are quite interested in. And so I appreciate getting these things. It makes it much easier to kind of determine where the aid is needed, what's going on. Karen, you said that there were 4 new people that came in this past month from outside the area.
Correct. That was the October numbers. Just in November so far, we've got 2 more additional ones.
Okay.
I know that some of the committee members have asked, why do I think the uptake in veterans moving into the community? I can only speak to those that have told me why they moved. It's not really any of my business, but some for medical, some to be closer to family, things like that. I'm not exactly sure why the last one, but just out of the last couple months, those are some of the reasons I've heard.
Yeah, I suppose that comes with age and physical condition, and things are always changing. So thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to just add a compliment to
Mr. Seep, can you keep this very brief?
Yes, I
Okay.
would like to compliment Mr. Van Dyke. He was the chair of the Veteran Service Committee before we were consolidated. And it was his effort that brought forth, he introduced these reports to the committee, and the committee passed a motion requiring that they be submitted monthly. I hope that they can continue to be submitted monthly because it's very helpful to us.
We can give that some thought or discussion if you, at some point. I think today, though, we're going to move on. We're going to see these again in January, and maybe at that time we can discuss if we'd like. I think monthly might be a lot unless it's just a consent item, or perhaps maybe quarterly, but we can leave that up to the committee to decide. So thank you. And thank you, Ms. Knock. We're going to move on then to our consent items, which are numbers 10 through 12. These are consent, and we've got the documents in our folder. Thank you to Angie and whoever else put those in, Stephanie. So there's expenditures report, our budget report, the placement comparisons, and the contract monitoring. Unless people have some questions or would like to review one specifically, we can just say thank you and move on to the next items. Did you all get a chance to review those? Great. Okay. Were there any questions or things that you want one of the ladies to go over? Okay, then we're going to move on to our action items, which will start with number 13, approving HHS contracts, agreements, and amendments. We have several documents in that number.
Yeah, so for 13A, those are all new and amended contracts for 2022. So still contracts that we're going to want to get out yet this year. If you're looking at the right sheet, there should be 4. We added one late yesterday, I think it was. So hopefully everyone's got that additional one. Most of these are behavioral health services related. So Core Treatment Services, Inc., Haley Schneider, and APNP we're going to be adding. Hansen Assessment and Educational Services. Those are all 3 behavioral health services unit related. And then the last one is Village Caregiving, which is a new ADRC that was added yesterday. All are well under $10,000, so they'll just be little agreements. They won't be big formal contracts getting out because we're almost done with the year. But a lot of these are added on to then 2023's list coming up.
Do we need to take these separately for
No,
actions?
just all together.
Once. Okay, great.
Yep.
So we'll move on to B.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, these you have to approve.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I wondered. I was like, wow, that's really efficient. of us.
No. I thought you meant each individual one. No.
I understand.
Yes.
Okay. So do we have any questions before we want to make a motion to approve these? If there aren't any questions, I'll take a motion to approve these 4 contracts.
So moved. Gatchel.
Okay, and a second? All right, second by Ms. Checker. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. B, 2023 contracts under 50,000.
Yeah, so B and C are the two, actually three, also the MOUs that were all on last month that we postponed to this month. So 2023 is what we're talking about. So the first list is contracts less than $50,000. Any questions? I guess the total, it's obviously very hefty. There's 4 pages of it, totaling about 1.3 million for 2023 that will be going out. Obviously, we spend up to that, not necessarily that dollar amount with each one of these providers. Did you want me to go over them? Last month, we didn't even go over the over $50,000 ones, so I wasn't sure how detailed you want me to go through these today.
I think we can just open it for questions. I did kind of look through. A lot of these are ones we've had before.
Routine,
Were there any
reoccurring.
new or notable, I
Mhm.
guess?
So there's one this morning that was added, page 2. So I'm hoping you see that right in the middle, Highland Springs Counseling. It's a new individual that's going to be doing for behavioral health services, our Prime for Life groups and our treatment court groups.
Document, you said.
Yep.
I see.
See, I think because it was done this morning. Oh,
Oh.
I'm sorry too. When I went to, there should be 2. When I went to try to delete the old one, somebody had it open, so I couldn't delete it. It's one of the problems of this shared folder. I don't know who's got documents open, so I can't get rid of them. So there should be this document with a 2 behind it.
Okay.
And that should replace that first one. So page 2, about the middle of the way down, Highland Springs. Otherwise, everyone on page 2 is pretty reoccurring. Page 3, and the way I know this quickly is if you look at the 2022 contract amount in the middle, roughly, if there's anything that we have not spent this year, any money with them, then I know they're a new provider, but otherwise we've been doing business with them already. Questions?
All right, if no questions on this, I'll take a motion to approve these contracts under $50,000.
Madam Chair, Van Landite, I move that we accept the contracts.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Severson seconds. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that'll take us to C, 2023 agreements under 10,000.
Yeah, so these are the little ones. A few of the ones we've approved earlier in the agenda are added to this for 2023. You'll see a little bit more cost with those, obviously, because it's for the full calendar year then. So that's where you'll see that village caregiving, which is at the bottom of page 1. It was a lot less this year. Now it's more, obviously. Anyone new? Let's see. That would be the one new one that we're just adding on. And the total is $94,000. And these again are those small agreements, not the big contracts that'll be going out.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, I'll take a motion for this. Mr. Severson moves with Ms. Chicker seconding. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, D, 2023 memorandums of understanding.
Okay, so just 2 here. MOUs that we do are still a good sized contract that we put out because the dollar amounts, especially for the food service, is large. But these are already businesses or corporations owned by Richland County. So we just do kind of a pass through of an agreement of what we're going to do. So you'll see Richland County Food Service, no increase. It went from 130,000 last year to 130,000 again this year. And Simon's went up just slightly, $5,000 additional intended to spend for 2023. So that total, 150,000.
Thank you. Any questions? Have a motion to approve these MOUs? Mr. Severson moves in a second. Ms. Chicker seconds. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that takes us to 14. Approve 2023 vehicle lease agreement and MOU.
So we have, through our 5310 program, we wrote grants for vehicles, and one of those we did with Pine Valley. So they have a bus that we actually have a memorandum of understanding with them for, so we just need that approved again this year. And then we also lease one of our old vehicles out to Schmidt Woodland Hills, and then they're responsible for all the repairs and all the upkeep of the vehicle as well. So just need a approval to be able to continue that lease with them for 2023.
Sounds great. Can I have a motion?
I move.
Mr. Severson moves in a second. Ms. Chicker seconds. Any discussion or questions?
So Schmidt Woodland Hills has to pay for the maintenance and care of that vehicle and that lease, but Pine Valley.
They pay for theirs as well. So, yeah, that's not, we don't pay for any of that.
Okay, all those in favor of these MOU or this MOU, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, number 15, approve dissolution of resolution number 21-63 recommending masks in county-owned buildings.
So this is a request that we're looking at. In the last couple of weeks, we've really looked at our COVID response plan for HHS. And in that, we found that this resolution had been created a couple of years ago, strongly recommended mask usage. We're just asking that this be dissolved because it isn't being encouraged anymore throughout the county buildings. Just based on COVID community levels. Right now, our community level is low. And so we're asking that this be dissolved. We looked at the availability of medications, the availability of vaccinations, masking, the knowledge that we have. And so we're asking that this be dissolved.
Okay,
I don't think we can act upon it right now.
why?
We don't have a quorum.
No, we do still have a quorum.
This is for the Board of Health item and the veterans, the citizen members of the Veterans Committee can't
Is that
act on Board of
correct?
Health issues.
Okay. How many
Tim,
do we
so
have to have? Is Tim still here?
Tim, you and I,
We'd
and
have-
Cindy, and Don, so there's 5.
How many are on our Board of Health?
I'm on
Fine, so
Van
we would
Landite's
need-
here.
So, yes, Mr. Van Landite, but this apparently is specifically for our Board of Health, which is kind of wrapped into our joint committee. And so there's 9 members on the Board of Health.
I see.
And we would need 5 of those members for quorum, and we'd have 5,
Okay.
I believe. No, Sherry's not. So does that mean we only have 4?
I'm here.
Sherry's there.
Right, but okay, we do have 5. All right. So of those members that are on the Board of Health, any questions, concerns, comments?
Are there options already built in?
So for the community services building, we do have it set up that in the public areas, masking is going to be required if, number one, the community level is high, or number 2, we have an immunization or some clinic through the public health department in session. But through this building, we don't.
Or any of the other?
Correct.
buildings?
Right.
Okay.
But through the community services building, yes, we do have that in place.
Okay, that, and I guess that would be my only question, whether, there is a building by building difference in the resolution. That's sort of an exception.
Madam Chair, question.
Yes, Mr. Seep.
Who are the members of the Board of Health?
So it's everyone that was not on the Veterans Commission, I believe. So,
What do you about the citizen members of?
oh, I'm sorry, everyone but the citizen members of the Veterans Commission. So Dr. Barris, myself,
Cindy.
Megan's looking this up. So this was a question when we first combined. I don't know if you guys remember this ongoing discussion, Mr. Seep, but basically it came down to we could combine the two committees and make it one committee, but we did still have to have a specific Board of Health, and those are the 9 members, excluding the citizen members of the previous Veterans Commission. So there's just 2, which would be Mr. Van Landite and Sherry Hillisham. Does that make sense?
They can certainly contribute. And
They can
add
contribute
value.
into discussion, but as far as anything voting on specifically only items for Board of Health, which is very rare, and this is one of those things.
And this is per state statute also.
Right. Thank you for addressing that, Mr. Severson. It is per our state statute.
Mr. Severson is a good parliamentarian.
He is. Great reference. Okay, so other members of the board, or anybody, do you have any questions or concerns? Otherwise, I mean, yeah.
I move for approval.
Is that Mr. Seep? Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Severson seconds. Is there any further discussion right now? All right. If not, then before Mr. Gotchel has to step out, let's vote on this. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that moves us to number 16, approve mental health therapist reclassification.
So in the budget for 2023, we had requested a reclass for the mental health therapist. Carlson Detman did a study and felt that it should be reclassed to a grade higher. And so we're just asking that this be approved through HHS, and then we'll go on to full county board.
Have we had problems with this in the past? Mr. Severson, maybe you remember?
Filling these jobs?
No,
Yes.
reclassifying.
Filling is
Yes,
job.
filling jobs. Yes, I know that. But I mean, haven't we attempted this before? My memory gets fuzzy.
No, this was the one that we had 5 mental health therapists
Uh,
that we recently reduced to just 2 and
Okay.
made 3 of them mental health case managers. That's what's been on the docket like a couple meetings ago. So we're looking
but
at,
I'm saying just in general, have we tried to reclassify a wage scale before and had any issues with that?
Oh, yeah,
With-
we've done that. We've done it
That's-
quite a bit.
And not, it
Where we
doesn't
went to Carlson Detman.
installed in their finance and personnel.
Yes, it has.
That was my question.
Yes.
so this one is in addition to, we have actually 3 total positions that are up for reclassification. 2 have already gone through the Carlson Detman finance personnel and will be on county board. Yeah. Carlson Detman missed this one, so it was delayed. So
Okay.
that's why it's by itself. APS, case manager or social worker,
Okay.
and then also children's social worker. So that's even like 4 months ago or so that was brought here. It's part of our budget. Those 3 positions, APS social worker, children's social worker, and this position were all 3 that we had proposed for reclassification.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yep.
I'm not opposed to it. I just want to make sure it's not going to
No, it was a delay. Carlson Detman honestly said, oops, we
okay.
missed that one. And that's why it's by itself, kind of this lone wolf, but it will be added with the other 2. And I think there's a whole county list that Clint will be reviewing at county board.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else with any questions?
What step do they start at?
So it's 1 step up. So they started at,
L, step 3?
step is always 2 for us.
2, so they'll be at grade L, step 2.
Yes. If, now this is a caveat too. It's if they are licensed already, which is
So-
that what this one is in specific. But remember, we do take on some non-licensed individuals initially, and that's a lot less.
Is there anybody that's on grade K that's above step 2?
Okay, that's,
Like,
Rob.
are these people that are on K for the therapist, like right now, are they at step 6 where there's like 30,
We don't have.
There you
it.
go.
We don't have, we stop at 4.
step 4?
Yeah,
We don't have any there.
no,
So this is not.
So they're
Yeah.
essentially getting like $1 more.
yeah. Hopefully, if you look, which I thought was interesting, if you look at the Carlson Detman review, they're actually saying it should be more, should be higher. But then we get into trouble with there's management and other people that are above that, that's a problem.
Madam
Yeah, we
Chair,
have no one in these positions.
Yes, Mr. Gotchall.
this is Mr. Seep.
Oh, I'm sorry. You sounded like Mr. Gotchall for a minute. Mr. Seep.
Yes, what level of education is required for this position to start with?
It would be a master level.
Master's degree. Thank
On
you.
all, sorry, Don, all that is on page 2 of the job description that's attached. So if you keep scrolling down, that also talks about all the, Jamie, if you can scroll down.
You know I'm a slow reader.
Nope, that's okay. I attached it just so that would help.
Thank you. I'll
Keep going, Jay.
look at it later.
And another page. Oh, too far. There it is. So it's the master's degree in social work related field. They have to have supervised clinical experience. And then to get this specific job description and wage, they have to have a state of Wisconsin license as an LCSW, LMFT, LSPC, or other license. Thanks, Jay. There, she highlighted it.
Hard positions to fill.
Yes, very. That's
Okay.
why we do have that lower level that we bring people in that are working on this, but that's even hard right now.
All right. Unless there's further questions, I'd take a motion to approve this.
I so move.
Ms. Chicker moves, and a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Seep. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, that takes us to number 17, updates to the county community services building signage.
So what we're looking to do, and we've talked about this a little bit, is our sign currently really highlights that we're the HHS building, but there are other departments that are contained within the building. So we want to update the sign to highlight that we are the community services building with various departments within the county that are housed there. So we're asking to approve the changes that we would be making to the sign.
A couple things we'd also do is those updates to logos. So as the county's rebranding, we're going to add some of that logo, those updated logos on there. And then as well as the ADRC will have a new logo that we'll be adding as well, with that elimination of SOC from their or consortium.
Yeah, I'm excited for this, and it looks like it's already in the budget.
Mhm.
Rock.
And if you look at the sign, it's not even the correct ADRC information, so it's pretty old.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
time to update.
It's hard to even see.
Well, thanks for pulling this together, guys. That was faster than I expected. You guys are quick.
We
This is
just need
awesome.
the logos now. We don't have those.
Yeah. Where are we getting those from?
Jason Glassbrenner. I've been working with him on.
Yeah, but well,
I don't think he's got any.
discussion for another time. I'm just wondering where he's getting them from. But.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
All right. Well, this is great. Any questions? Okay, motion for approval.
So moved, Van Landite.
Okay, and a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Hey, number 18, our admin report from Director Clement.
All right, so I will give unit updates. We'll start with economic support. They currently are fully staffed, and that's been great. The 2 new workers are about halfway through their new worker training and are doing well. They are the first crew to go through the state's new cohort training, and they're enjoying this approach to the new worker training. So they have 3 days online with other individuals who are new, and then the other 2 days are internal trainings that they're doing. They are preparing for the unwinding of the public health emergency. We will know by the 14th if this will be ending in January of 23. By that time, if it is January of 23, the 2 new workers will be through training and able to assist with the increase in calls and the casework that will bring. This month, the unit, and it's actually today, is making a trip to Madison for a meeting with the entire consortium. Prior to COVID, these meetings were twice a year, and this will be the first one in person since COVID. It'll be a day of training and camaraderie. It really is vital for them to work with the economic support workers from different counties to meet each other, get to know each other, and create the team environment needed for a successful consortium. With the ADRC, the transportation program provided a quality of life bus trip to see the fall colors, go to Oakwood, and then out to lunch on October 18th. The program also offered free transportation to voters for free transportation to those needing to go vote for individuals who are aging or disabled. The ADRC provided a community dementia live event, which some of the HHS staff were able to attend. This program will be provided to the Richland County Sheriff's Department on February 28th and the Richland Center Police Department on February 8th. November is Caregiver Month. The ADRC is partnering with Crawford and Vernon County to provide a caregiver boot camp on November 17th. Also, as a reminder, the ADRC is sponsoring the Climbs Theater play Grandpa and Lucy, which will be held at the Lone Rock Community Center on November 15th at 7. No reservations are needed to attend. Medicare open enrollment is in full swing. The first 2 weeks of open enrollment, the EBS and DBS had already received 52 requests for assistance. Open enrollment ends on December 7th, and individual new plans will take effect January 1st of 23. With Child and Youth Services, Brittany Wirtz is currently in charge as Jessica Tisdale is on maternity leave. Jessica will be back the beginning of February. She did have a little boy and everything's going well. Shelby Miller completed her forensic interview training at the end of October, which was a week-long intensive training. And she learned great skills there. Kaya Holtzman completed her safety training last week, and this will allow her to take more case management responsibility, to conduct safety assessments, and be part of after-hours on-call. This unit has received an increase of investigations and some unusual situations lately, so they have been busy. The behavioral health unit, Teresa Nundahl has started as manager of that unit. She started last month, but we kind of missed the director's report, so we're very happy to have her with us. Cindy Bromland is a mental health case manager, and she started in October. She is the one leased position. And then Brandy Christensen is the treatment court coordinator, and she started on the 7th. So we're excited to have both of them and Teresa on board. We are working in that unit towards staff specializing in different areas rather than having staff work pieces of each program. This will foster more consistency in the programs, and we hope alleviate staff burnout. In reviewing some of the exit interviews, that was something that they noted was kind of having their hands in too many pieces. I say it's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. And so we're really trying to get more of that specialization. So as part of that transition, Alice Retram will transition her CCS caseload to Cindy, and she will assume the crisis worker position and responsibilities. This week we interviewed a candidate for the mental health case manager position and are continuing to recruit for a substance abuse counselor, APS worker, and 2 mental health therapist positions. In public health, we continue to offer both COVID and influenza vaccines to a robust number of clients. In comparison to the previous 2 years, we've seen a definite uptick in the number of persons requesting influenza vaccine. COVID cases remain even. Public health continues to maintain surveillance on the evolution of the Omicron variant, as both the East and West Coast are seeing increased cases of the new variant. In nutrition, volunteers continue to be sought to assist with home-delivered meals, and plans are being made to offer dementia training to the nutrition staff in 2023. Those are our updates.
Thank you. Any questions for Director Clements? All right, that moves us to number 19, the HHS personnel updates. We have 2 documents, one for October and one for November, since we didn't get to those last month.
Yeah, so starting with the October, there it is. We had 4 new hires. 2 of the economic support specialists started on September 19th. Teresa, obviously we had mentioned, start on October 3rd. And then we had Heidi Pendleton, who started on October 17th. Probationary periods, we had Alice Lawrence Retram pass on October 4th, and Emily Phillips right behind her on October 5th. To continue down, some resignations. Unfortunately, we had Tiffany Olson, treatment coordinator. She resigned October 14th. We had a transfer basically of a position with Alicia Woodhouse. She started out as a family pres worker. She resigned from that and transferred immediately to the CST coordinator on October 3rd. Cindy Bromland, a new service facilitator working with CCS. So those are all the least activity. And then we did have a medical leave of absence without pay down below for a few days, Connie Ostrowski. If you look down at the bottom, I started to gray out those positions that we talked about during our budget process. They've been on hold for long periods of time. We would just kind of keep those on hold, and I'll eliminate those from these if we decide what we're going to do with all of those jobs. I think a few are going to be eliminated, and then a few are just on hold pending approval by Finance and Personnel and Clint, the county administrator, before we can actually refill those. So otherwise, everything at the top, all the behavioral health services positions and the child and youth case manager position, some have been filled. Some we're still interviewing or advertising, and that activity is on the next page, the November date. So this is more of what's happened since the last meeting. We hired a treatment court coordinator, Brandy Christensen. She just started on Monday. Anna Udelhoven passed probation, or she will, on, what is that, December 1st. Boy, it's weird. We're already in December. Wow. And then we had a termination, Heidi Pendleton, on October 20th. No activity, or I'm sorry, yes, we did hire Tiffany Olson on as just an LTE treatment court consultant through the leasing agency to help us out until we filled Brandy's job, and now she's helping train Brandy. And then that position will be dissolved. And then I just updated everything down at the bottom, like I had just said. So we're actually really just currently advertising on a lot. A couple positions are on hold, that CCS supervisor and case manager, largely the case manager for children's, just because Jess is on maternity leave. So we'll wait and look and see what we do with those in the turn of the new year. And then I think I'm up, or due to do the org chart update next month. So you'll see what all this looks like there visually.
See that there was one employee that was hired and 3 days later is no longer an employee. Was that like a licensure issue, or?
It just wasn't a good fit for the department.
Okay. Thank you for those updates.
You're welcome.
Man, guys, we're doing great. Future agenda items. Does anyone have any agenda items that they would like to see on next month's? And it's going to feel weird to get out of here in a little over an hour instead of 3 hours. Yay.
And we started early.
I know. This is great. Okay. So that will take us to our adjournment. I'm looking at the calendar. Are we the 14th of December? Does that sound right? But then that puts us after county board. Does that happen normally? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong date. I'm looking at Wednesday. Okay. That makes more sense. I'm like, man, then we're behind county board. Okay. Forgive me. So we'd be adjourning to December 8th at 9:30. All right. Can I have a motion for that? I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay.
That's
All
my
those
wedding.
in favor?
That's my wedding anniversary.
Oh, well, congratulations in advance. Hopefully we'll get out of there in time for you guys to still, I don't know, celebrate in the evening.
I've been married 150 years.
Well, how many years?
100.
How many years is?
I got married in 1973.
Wow.
50 something.
That is amazing.
That was the year I
Congratulations.
was born.
That's awesome. Tell your wife congratulations from us too. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
She,
Aye.
she
Opposed?
probably needs condolences.